As a parent, when you drop your child off at school, you place an enormous amount of trust in the faculty. You believe that the staff of the school will keep your most cherished gift safe at all times. So, imagine the ultimate feeling of betrayal when you find out that rather than your child's teacher protecting your baby, they are sleeping with them. Hi, guys. Welcome or welcome back. Thank you so much for being here. It is so greatly appreciated. Truly, truly is. Before I get started, let me give you my usual disclaimer. This video is for educational purposes only. Please do not take what I say as fact. Please always do your own research and come to your own conclusions. Next, if you have not liked, subscribed, or commented yet, please consider doing so because it really helps me out and I really appreciate it and I really need it. Okay, so if you Google teachers that sleep with their students, there is an abundance of names and mugshots that will pop up. It's absolutely sickening. It is estimated that 10% of K through 12 students will experience SA at the hands of a school employee by the time they graduate high school. This can leave a child feeling as though they have been complicit in the ABUSC because they did not tell their teacher to stop. This could not be further from the truth, by the way. A child is nothing more than a victim in any and all SA situations, period, point blank. I've compiled a few of the most shocking, sickening, and bizarre, I don't know, I can't get that word out, stories that I have found regarding this particular topic. So let's jump in. Peyton Shires. In 2023, 24-year-old Peyton Shires was a graduate of Ohio State University and employed as a social worker in Columbus at the National Youth Advocate Program. The program is designed to provide counseling, social work, and advocacy for families that have found themselves in the foster care system. Peyton loved to brag on social media about all of her accomplishments by the age of 21. And to be fair, she did pretty good. She had a $225,000 three-bedroom home in Mount Sterling, 3 dogs. She was engaged and she had a 1-year-old son. So, if she wasn't a shit fucking person, I would probably be one of the first people to praise her. But months after all of these posts were put up, the mother of a 13-year-old client of Peyton found explicit text messages and videos of the two engaging in intercourse on her son's phone. They were sent to him from Peyton. They also found messages from Peyton to the boy asking if he had deleted certain videos. The child told police that he had sex with Peyton at least twice the month before. She was arrested after this in October of 2023. During her interview with police, she admitted to the accusations that were being made. Following her arrest, Peyton posted a $50,000 bail and she was released from prison. Part of the conditions related to her bail were that she was forbidden to have any contact with the 13-year-old boy. But it doesn't stop there because that would be too easy. On Thursday, October 26, 2023, Shires showed up to the boy's home with a handgun. According to police reports, she entered the front porch and called the child's mother, who by the grace of God was not home at the time. She told the mother over the phone that she ruined her life and that she was there to kill her and then herself. The mother phoned police, and when police arrived at the house, they found Peyton on the woman's front porch with the gun to her head. From there, she was brought back into custody and her bond was revoked. Okay. First and foremost, this family did not ruin this woman's life. In fact, it is the complete opposite. And it's infuriating that she would even place any type of blame on this child or this child's family. What Peyton Shires fails to realize is that she not only ruined her own life, but she also ruined the life of a 13-year-old child. To make matters worse, this child was in therapy at the time, which very much insinuates that he was dealing with other issues prior to even meeting Peyton Shires, the person that was supposed to be helping him, the person that took an oath to help him. Essentially, she was the cherry on top of this child's already confused life. Birds of a feather do flock together, though, because the fiance of Peyton and the father of her son is a man by the name of Nicholas Rafter, who is now 27 years old. In November of 2015, Rafter was sentenced to 4 years and 11 months in prison for unlawful SA with a 14-year-old girl while she was unaware of the act being committed due to substances that he had given her. He was released from prison in August of 2017 and placed on 5 years of intensive supervised parole, which he completed in July of 2022. Haley Carmack. 26-year-old Haley Carmack was a math teacher at Lake E High School in Missouri. She is recently divorced to a man by the name of Chance, and the couple have 2 children together. Her now ex-husband is a mixed martial arts fighter and has finished basic training in the U.S. Army. From at least November 1st through December 23rd of 2023, Haley was having sexual relations with a 16-year-old student at the high school and using other students as their lookout. 2 months into Haley's relationship with the teen, a classmate came forward to police, showed them pictures of scratches down the student's back, and told them about the sexual activities that were taking place. These particular pictures came from an instance between the two in the driveway of the teen's home. But in another disgusting twist, the father of the teen, 36-year-old Mark Creighton, has also been arrested for knowing about what was happening and covering up for the two. Even going as far as to allow Haley to come over to the house while he was at home to have sex with his son. I have no words for this. I really don't. I have no words for this. Both Haley and the boy's father have been arrested and charged, and hopefully they will both face the charges that they deserve. Alexandria Vera. 24-year-old Alexandria Vera was an English teacher at Stovall Middle School. In April of 2016, police were notified that Alexandria was having inappropriate encounters with a 13-year-old student of hers. This information was first obtained by the principal, a woman by the name of Elsa Wright. In police records, Elsa says that she questioned Alexandria about the allegations and that Alexandria admitted to her that she had been in a sexual relationship with this student from at least September 30th, 2015 through January 30th of 2016. Alexandria agreed to speak with police as well, and the things she says absolutely infuriated me because it very much came across to me that she was victim blaming. And she says that she first met the student in summer school of 2015. She says that he was rude to her in the beginning, but that by the end of summer school, he was asking for her Instagram name, which she says that she refused to give to him. Fast forward to September, Alexandria sees the student on her roster. Towards the end of the month, she says that the student stopped showing up to her class. She claims that she became concerned about him, so she decided to send him an Instagram message to not only make sure that he was okay, but to also remind him about an assignment that was due. Okay, let me just stop you right here. If this was even remotely true, as a teacher, you would first check with the school to see if he was showing up to school in general. Then, depending on the answer you receive, from there you would notify the principal of the school and the student's parents. You would never, ever, ever, for any reason, reach out to a student via Instagram. Or should I say, for any good reason? She says that the student replies to her message and asks for her phone number, to which she gives him. She says that from there, the student calls her up, asks her to hang out with him, and she agrees. She picks the student up at his house, and they drive around for a little while before kissing in the car. The following day, Alexandria shows back up to the student's home while his parents are not there, and they have sex for the first time. Fast forward to October of 2015. School holds their annual back to school night. Oddly enough, this student's parents show up, and Alexandria takes this opportunity to introduce herself to his parents as their son's English teacher. Following back to school night, Alexandria shows up to the student's house again, this time when his parents are home, and she's introduced to them once again, only this time, instead of his English teacher, she's introduced to them as his girlfriend. After this meeting, she says that the parents were completely accepting of this relationship and claims that she was even invited to family gatherings with them. Okay. Now, normally I would call absolute bullshit and say there's no way that any parent on the planet would allow this to go down with their 13-year-old child. Because that's where my mind goes. No parent would ever, ever, ever allow something like that to happen. But if we have learned anything from Haley Carmack, it's that some parents would actually allow this to occur. To be clear, that is not me saying that this is true. That's me saying that this could be true. She goes on to say from that point on, the two would be in a full blown relationship, have sex almost on a daily basis, and that they were in love. She also says that the student would spend many nights at her home, and the following morning she would drop him off at home so that he could catch the bus to school. Let that sink in for a minute. She would drive her lover back to mommy and daddy's house in the morning so that he could grab his book bag, his lunchbox, his homework, and catch the school bus. Now for the worst part. Alexandria says that in January of 2016, she discovered that she was pregnant with this student's baby, claiming that the family knew about the baby, was supportive about the baby, and were happy about the new addition to the family. I don't know. I would like to imagine that she's just batshit crazy and making stuff up. I don't know. Then she says that in February, CPS came to speak to her about the allegations. She got spooked and she decided to terminate the pregnancy. And in April of 2024, Alexandria was sentenced to 10 years in prison. Is that enough? Probably not. Because when she gets out, yeah, she'll probably have to register like the rest of them, but she's still absolutely, she'll be in her 30s. She is still in her prime to do this to another innocent child. Okay, so I found this website. It's Innocent Lives Foundation. And there's just some really good, they, first of all, they do a great job of breaking everything down, but some of the statistics are, they're sickening, okay? So, consent. Consent is when two people mutually agree to engage in SA with each other. The yes must be given freely, and if one individual wants to stop, that everything has to cease. There's no force, there's no coercing. It is a yes or no situation where those participating individuals intentionally and consciously take part in sexual activity. Minors cannot give consent. They can, consent cannot be given to individuals who are underage, intoxicated, or incapacitated by drugs or alcohol, or asleep or unconscious. If someone agrees to an activity under pressure of intimidation or threat, that isn't considered consent because it was not given freely. Unequal power dynamics, such as engaging in SA with an employee or student, also means consent cannot be given freely. Age also matters when talking about consent because minors, particularly preteens and younger, do not and cannot fully understand the nature of the sexual activity. And even though the minimum age for consent varies from 16 to 18 years old based on the state, it is illegal for a child to agree to sex or cooperate in a sexual activity. Because again, a child cannot legally consent to sex, and cooperation does not equal consent. In other words, if a 13 or 14 or 15 or whatever, even though your student wants to sleep with you, that does not mean that they have given you consent because they cannot give you consent. The typical offender is usually a male, is well liked at school, and has been recognized for excellence at their job. The offender can be any kind of school employee, teacher, counselor, coach, principal, superintendent. The age of the offenders average about 28 years old, but they can range from 21 to 75 years old. While they are typically males, like we've just seen in the last three stories, women can also do it. Offenders typically act differently depending on the age that they're targeting, okay? So the ones that go after children in the 7th grade or younger are typically considered especially good at their job and in a lot of cases have been celebrated educators. Their reputation is usually outstanding, and when the truth does come out, it usually shocks school district officials and community members. On the other hand, the ones that go after children that are in like the 7th grade and above may not be as excellent as the teachers that go after the younger children. When typically, when focusing on these ages, the acts of misconduct are somewhat less planned instead of sexual misconduct. It can be more opportunistic and the result of poor judgment or a misplaced sense of privilege. The typical victims are usually female high school students that come from low income backgrounds. And they often target these students because they have such an unhappy home life. On top of this, students with disabilities are more likely to experience this type of misconduct by school employees than students without disabilities. So, since the typical victim is often someone that comes from a low income background or has a less than ideal life, this makes them perfect prey because students with unmet needs are the easiest to exploit, befriend, and victimize. These people usually target specific students with whom they can control. The decision of which student to target usually depends on the student's compliance and likeliness that they will keep what's going on a secret. The way that they keep the child from talking is through grooming. Grooming is when the predator creates a false sense of trust to accomplish their goals of initiating and desensitizing the child to the behaviors and to keeping it all secret. One way that they might do this is giving the child extra attention or opportunities to help them with class material, to perfect new skills, and to enhance their learning experience. So, not only does this help them gain the child's trust, but it's also a great tactic to trick parents. And the worst part being that the parents are usually grateful for the interest that the teacher has taken in their child. And if you are a parent, then you have most likely, if you are a parent that has a child in school system, you have most likely come across a teacher that has gone the extra mile for one of your children, and you know how grateful you were, because I have had teachers go the extra mile for my children, and I thank them repeatedly through emails. To think that they would do this to my child makes me sick. It makes me absolutely sick. Girls are 4 times more likely to be victims of this as boys. And our culture has glamorized a sexual teacher student relationship, which I don't know why, because there's nothing glamorous about this, but they have. Girls are 4 times more likely to be the victims of SA. And male victims don't usually get to be victims, and instead they get blamed for what has happened to them, or it gets brushed off because people make misplaced judgments about teenage males when it comes to stuff like this, with an argument being that boys are hormonal and that they fantasize about hooking up with their teachers. And people would argue that if a boy cooperates or displays evidence of an arousal, that he must have wanted to engage in this with the teacher or the educator. Okay, that is not true. It does not matter, male or female, they are both equal victims. Let's look long-term consequences. Okay, so this type of thing can lead to other problems that include self-harm, sexually transmitted diseases, substance abuse, dissociation, eating disorders, pregnancy, sleep disorders, and unaliving, among other things. Okay, this is not something that any child would choose for themselves, but they must cope with the aftermath from the trauma that they endured. which makes them a victim. Whether it is a male or a female, it does not matter. It is null and void. They are a victim. All right, guys, if you're still here, thank you, thank you, thank you. I love you and I appreciate you so, so, so very much. Please like, subscribe, and comment if you haven't yet. And until next time, stay safe out there.